Have you ever opened your fridge, grabbed something you've eaten countless times, and thought, this has to be safe? Here's a surprising truth, especially for adults over 65. Some everyday foods, ones that seem perfectly normal, could quietly increase your risk of cancer and other serious health issues. The danger: these items often look fresh, smell fine, and taste just like they did the day you bought them. Yet, inside, dangerous changes may already be happening. Today, I'm going to show you the 5 common foods you should never keep in your refrigerator for too long because, over time, they can become harmful to your health. And I promise, the last one on the list is something almost everyone overlooks. Before we dive in, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching this video from, and what time of day is it right now? Please leave a comment below. I'm really looking forward to reading your answers. And if you find this video helpful, hit the subscribe button to stay updated. If you don't feel like subscribing, then just tap the like button. It still helps this community grow. Your fridge may not be as safe as you think. So, let's get started. Smoked meats, a hidden risk in the American fridge. When most of us think about breakfast, we imagine the comforting sizzle of bacon in a hot skillet, or perhaps the smell of a holiday ham warming in the oven, or even the familiar taste of a sausage patty nestled beside scrambled eggs on a Sunday morning. These foods are not just meals. They are memories of family gatherings, church potlucks, or cozy mornings when the house felt full and alive with tradition. For many seniors, smoked meats are a piece of cultural identity, a reminder of how things used to be when life felt simple and predictable. Yet, behind that comfort lies a risk we rarely talk about, and it becomes more serious as we grow older. Smoked and processed meats are preserved with nitrates and nitrites, substances that help keep their color and extend shelf life. Over time, inside the cool and slightly damp environment of a refrigerator, these preservatives can undergo chemical changes that create nitrosamines, compounds strongly linked to cancers of the stomach and colon. What makes it troubling is that nitrosamines are invisible, odorless, and tasteless. Your ham or bacon may look fine, smell wonderful, and taste just as good as the day you bought it, but the danger may already be present in ways you cannot see. For seniors, the risks are greater. As we age, our immune systems weaken and our bodies repair cellular damage less effective. This means that toxins we could once process without much harm now linger longer, doing more damage in the background. Add to that the invisible pressure of living alone or managing meals on a tight budget. Many older adults buy family-sized packs of bacon or sausage, use a little at a time, and keep the rest in the fridge for weeks. Each time the package is opened, air and moisture sneak in, creating the perfect conditions for chemical changes and bacterial growth. It feels practical, but it quietly places health at risk. Let me share the story of Harold, a 72-year-old retiree who loved his smoked sausages. He lived alone, and buying large packs seemed sensible. He would slice off a few pieces each week, trusting the fridge to keep them safe. During a routine doctor's visit, his physician asked about his eating habits. When Harold explained his sausage routine, the doctor told him about nitrosamines and the dangers of keeping smoked meats too long. Harold was shocked. He had always believed he was being careful. After that visit, he began buying smaller portions and freezing what he could not use within a few days. He still enjoys his sausages, but now he feels more secure, knowing he is protecting his health with small, simple steps. The good news is that you do not need to give up smoked meats entirely. Instead, treat them with respect, buy in smaller amounts, and finish them within 3 to 5 days. If you buy in bulk, divide the package right away, freeze what you will not use, and thaw it safely in the refrigerator. Cook meats thoroughly, but remember that cooking alone does not erase the chemical risks. Safe storage is your first line of defense. Most importantly, enjoy them in moderation, not as daily staples, but as occasional treats that bring joy without unnecessary harm. Food is memory, and memories matter deeply in our later years. But memory is safest when we treat it with care. By taking these small precautions, you can continue to enjoy the flavors that remind you of family and tradition while protecting the independence and health that matter just as much. Cooked rice, the hidden danger in a simple grain. For many of us, rice feels like one of the safest and most familiar foods in the kitchen. A bowl of warm white rice sits quietly on the table, ready to accompany stir-fry with vegetables, a comforting chicken soup, or even a casserole pulled from the oven on a cool evening. It is simple, inexpensive, and versatile, which makes it a staple not only in Asian American and Latin American households, but also in many American families who have learned to stretch meals with a pot of rice that lasts for days. At first glance, rice seems harmless, almost too plain to ever be a threat. The hidden danger, however, lies not in the grain itself, but in what happens after cooking. You see, uncooked rice can naturally contain a type of bacteria called Bacillus cereus. Cooking kills most of the bacteria, but the spores, tiny heat-resistant seeds of the bacteria, can survive the cooking process. If rice is left to cool slowly on the counter or is stored too long in the refrigerator, those spores can wake up, grow, and release toxins that cause food poisoning. For older adults, this risk is especially troubling. The common symptoms, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and dehydration, can be far more dangerous when your immune system is weaker or when you are already managing conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, or kidney disease. There is another quiet threat that comes when rice is stored for several days in the damp environment of a refrigerator. Mold can begin to grow, and some molds produce aflatoxins, poisonous compounds linked to liver damage and even cancer. The unsettling truth is that aflatoxins are invisible and tasteless. You may eat rice that looks perfectly fine, only to expose your body to toxins that build up over time. This is not about fear, it is about awareness. And for seniors, awareness is the key to prevention. Patricia, a 68-year-old grandmother, learned this lesson the hard way. For years, she had a routine she thought was efficient and safe. Every Sunday, she cooked a big pot of rice, stored it in one large container, and used it throughout the week for lunches and dinner. One winter, after eating leftover rice that had been in her refrigerator for nearly 5 days, she became violently ill. The vomiting and dehydration sent her to the hospital, where doctors explained that rice, unlike some other foods, can harbor bacteria and toxins even when refrigerated. Patricia was shocked. She had always believed that cold storage was enough. That hospital visit changed her habits forever. Now she cools her rice quickly, stores it in small portions, and freezes anything she will not use within 2 days. She still enjoys her rice, but she does so with confidence that she is protecting her health. The good news is that simple adjustments can eliminate most of the risk. After cooking, spread rice out in a thin layer on a tray or in a wide dish so that it cools quickly within 1 hour. Once cooled, place it in airtight containers and refrigerate it promptly, but use it within 1 to 2 days. If you have cooked more than you can eat, divide it into small portions and freeze it right away. Frozen rice can last for months without losing flavor or safety. When reheating, make sure it reaches at least 85 degrees Celsius, and add a splash of water or broth to keep it moist. Most importantly, avoid reheating the same portion more than once. Each cycle of cooling and warming gives bacteria another chance to grow. For seniors who want to remain independent, these small steps are not just about food safety, they are about protecting energy, avoiding unnecessary illness, and keeping hospital visits at bay. As one wise Indian saying reminds us, even a simple grain of rice, when neglected, teaches us how small habits can protect or harm. The everyday choices you make in your kitchen can quietly shape your health. With care and mindfulness, rice can remain the comforting companion it has always been, nourishing your body without hidden risk. Soft cheeses, a silent risk behind the creamy texture. Picture a small wooden board set out on the dining table during the holidays, decorated with slices of fruit, a handful of nuts, and a wheel of soft brie waiting to be paired with a glass of red wine. Imagine the salty bite of blue cheese spread over a crisp cracker, or the soft creaminess of camembert melting gently on your tongue. For many Americans, especially those with European roots or traditions, cheese plates are a sign of elegance and togetherness. They appear at Christmas gatherings, at wine and cheese evenings with friends, or at quiet dinners when you want to treat yourself to something special. The taste feels indulgent, the presentation feels refined, and the memories they carry often stretch back through decades of family life. Yet, as lovely as these cheeses appear, they carry a hidden danger that is rarely discussed, particularly for older adults. Soft cheeses, unlike their harder cousins, hold much more moisture. This damp environment makes them the perfect breeding ground for bacteria, and one bacteria in particular, Listeria monocytogenes, has the ability to survive and even multiply in refrigerator temperatures. That means even when stored properly in your fridge, certain soft cheeses can still harbor bacteria capable of causing serious illness. For younger people, Listeria infection may only cause a short fever or mild stomach upset, but for seniors, it can be far more severe. It can lead to high fever, confusion, muscle aches, and in some cases, life-threatening complications that require hospitalization. The Centers for Disease Control has warned that people over 65 are among the most vulnerable to Listeria infections, with mortality rates as high as 20 to 30% in fragile populations. There is also another problem hiding within these creamy textures: mold. Unlike firm cheeses such as cheddar or Parmesan, where surface mold can often be safely trimmed away, soft cheeses have a porous structure that allows mold to penetrate deeply and invisibly. Some molds produce aflatoxins, toxic compounds that can damage the liver and have been linked to an increased risk of cancer. What makes this risk especially concerning is that aflatoxins are both tasteless and odorless. By the time you notice a fuzzy green patch or a strange smell, the toxins may already be spread throughout the cheese. Eating it can mean exposing yourself to dangers you never realized were there. Harold, a 74-year-old retired teacher, found this out in a painful way. He loved his European-style cheese plates and would buy a wedge of brie to savor slowly. Because he lived alone, it often took him 2 or 3 weeks to finish. He assumed that as long as the cheese was kept cold, it was safe. But one winter, after eating the last slices of a 3-week-old brie, Harold became severely ill. The stomach cramps and fever left him bedridden, and doctors later confirmed that a Listeria infection was the cause. Harold admitted he never imagined cheese could be so dangerous. The experience left him shaken, but it also pushed him to change his habits. Today he buys smaller portions, eats them within a week, and chooses harder cheeses when he wants a safer option. He still enjoys his cheese board, but with a new sense of caution and care. The solutions, fortunately, are simple and do not mean you must give up these foods entirely. Buy only small amounts of soft cheese, just enough to enjoy within 7 to 10 days. Store them properly by wrapping them in wax or parchment paper, which allows them to breathe while preventing excess moisture buildup, and then place them inside a sealed container in the coldest part of your refrigerator. Never attempt to cut off moldy spots on soft cheese, as the contamination often runs deeper than the surface. If you love cheese but want something safer, reach for harder varieties like cheddar, Parmesan, or Gouda, which last longer and resist bacteria mold much better. Soft cheeses will always hold a certain charm. They bring elegance to a table, flavor to a cracker, and comfort to an evening snack. But health must come first. Cheese is like friendship. Enjoy it while it is fresh, and know when it is time to let go. By being mindful about how long you keep soft cheeses, and by choosing safer alternatives when needed, you can continue to enjoy life's small pleasures without placing yourself at unnecessary risk. The beauty of these moments is not lost. When you take precautions, it is preserved, just like the health and independence you deserve to protect. Cold cuts with nitrates, the hidden risk in a simple sandwich. It is easy to imagine the scene: a quick lunch in the middle of the day, a slice of turkey or ham tucked between 2 pieces of bread, maybe with a little mustard, lettuce, and tomato. For many Americans, especially seniors, who value simplicity, deli meats are the go-to choice when you want something fast, familiar, and satisfying. The charcuterie board at a holiday party, with its colorful rolls of salami and slices of smoked turkey, feels festive and inviting. These foods fit neatly into our daily routines, carrying both convenience and tradition, yet behind the ease of preparing a sandwich or enjoying a plate of cold cuts lies a risk that too few people talk about. Most deli meats are preserved with nitrates, or nitrites, chemicals that help keep the meat looking fresh and pink and extend its shelf life. On the surface, this seems like a benefit, but inside your body, these compounds can change into something much more harmful. When nitrates and nitrites break down, they can form nitrosamines, chemicals linked to cancers of the stomach, colon, and other parts of the digestive system. You cannot see them, taste them, or smell them. That turkey slice in your fridge may look perfectly safe, but the longer it sits, the more chances there are for these chemical changes to occur. Another hidden issue is salt. Cold cuts often contain very high levels of sodium, which helps with preservation but creates real health problems for seniors. Too much sodium contributes to high blood pressure, strains the heart, and increases the risk of kidney disease. For someone over 65, whose body no longer regulates fluids and blood pressure as efficiently as it once did, that extra salt can slowly chip away at health and independence. What begins as a simple sandwich can, over time, feed into chronic conditions that make daily life harder. The problem grows worse when combined with common habits. Many people buy large family-sized packs of deli meats to save money or reduce trips to the store. It feels practical, especially if you live alone and do not cook elaborate meals every day. But keeping those packs open for weeks allows both chemical changes and bacterial growth to take hold. Some bacteria, like Listeria, thrive in the cool environment of a refrigerator, adding another layer of risk that cannot always be detected by smell or taste. Marjorie, a 78-year-old widow, learned this lesson after years of eating turkey sandwiches for lunch. She believed that as long as the slices were cold and smelled fine, they were safe. She admitted to keeping an open pack in her fridge for up to 4 weeks, trimming off the edges if they looked dry. During a checkup, her doctor explained that deli meat should be eaten within 3 to 5 days of opening, no matter how fresh they seem. Marjorie was shocked. She thought she was being careful, but she realized her habit was quietly putting her health at risk. Now she visits the deli counter, buys smaller amounts, and uses them within a few days. She still enjoys her sandwiches, but with a new sense of awareness and safety. The good news is that there are simple ways to keep deli meats in your life without letting them endanger your health. Buy fresh cuts from the deli counter instead of pre-packaged options that may already have sat for weeks before reaching the store. Once you bring them home, eat them within 3 to 5 days, and keep them in airtight containers in the coldest part of your refrigerator. If you want the taste without the preservatives, roast a small turkey breast, chicken or beef at home, then slice and store it yourself. It is not only safer, but often more flavorful. And when choosing store-bought options, look for packages labeled nitrate-free or no added nitrites. Though even then, moderation is key. These alternatives are better, but not a license to eat them endlessly. Cold cuts can still have their place on your table. They can bring joy to a lunch with grandchildren or add color to a holiday gathering. But they should be treated as an occasional treat rather than an everyday staple. Convenience is good, but wisdom is better. Fresh is always safe. By making small changes in the way you shop, store, and enjoy these foods, you protect not just your health, but also the independence and peace of mind that come with it. Pickled foods with artificial colors. A hidden danger in a beloved tradition. Picture a sunny backyard barbecue where hamburgers sizzle on the grill and a jar of dill pickles sits open on the picnic table, waiting to be piled onto buns or enjoyed straight from the jar. Or think of the holidays when a platter of bright red pickled eggs might take center stage among casseroles, pies, and other family favorites. Pickles have a long history in American kitchens, offering flavor, color, and nostalgia. For many seniors, a jar of pickles in the refrigerator feels almost permanent. Always there, always safe, and always ready to add a tangy crunch to a meal. But not every pickle is as safe as it looks, and the risks are often hidden where we least expect them. Many store-bought pickled foods contain artificial colors, such as yellow 5, red 40, or blue 1. These dyes help give pickles their vibrant, eye-catching hues. But in the acidic environment of vinegar brine, they can break down into harmful byproducts. Research has shown that long-term exposure to these compounds may damage cells and increase cancer risk. The troubling part is that these changes happen silently. Your pickles may taste the same and look appealing, but the chemistry inside the jar is shifting in ways you cannot see. The risk does not stop there. Another common preservative in pickled foods is sodium benzoate. On its own, it helps prevent spoilage, but when combined with vitamin C, naturally present in foods like peppers or cucumbers, it can form benzene, a well-known carcinogen. This chemical reaction is more likely to occur when jars are stored for months in the refrigerator, where acidic and moist conditions continue to drive slow changes. For seniors whose bodies are less efficient at detoxifying harmful compounds, these hidden reactions may carry even greater consequences. Unfortunately, many of us develop habits that quietly add to the problem. It is common to open a jar of pickles and keep it in the fridge for months, taking out a spear here and there without thinking much about it. The vinegar brine seems like a perfect shield, so we assume nothing harmful could be happening. But safety is not just about bacteria, it is also about chemical reactions we cannot smell or taste. Walter, an 81-year-old retired mechanic, shared his story with me. He had loved pickled eggs since childhood, a tradition passed down from his Pennsylvania Dutch family. Every winter, he bought a large jar, placed it in the back of his fridge, and slowly worked through it over 6 months. He was convinced the vinegar brine kept everything safe indefinitely. But after a routine checkup, his doctor explained the risks of artificial dyes and preservatives and how they could transform over time into harmful compounds. Walter was stunned. "I thought vinegar kept them good forever," he admitted. With his doctor's guidance, Walter began choosing natural pickles and making smaller homemade batches. He still enjoys them today, but without the lingering worry. The solutions, thankfully, are both simple and satisfying. First, look for products made with natural coloring, such as turmeric for yellow, beet juice for red, or paprika for orange. These natural ingredients give the same vibrant appearance without the risk of synthetic dye. Second, once a jar is opened, aim to finish it within 2 to 4 weeks, not months. Label the jar with the date you opened it, and make it a habit to check the brine for any unusual cloudiness, changes in color, or off smells. If something looks different, it is safer to discard it. Third, consider making your own pickles at home. A simple recipe with vinegar, salt and spices produces delicious results, and you control exactly what goes into the jar. Homemade pickles not only taste fresher, but also connect you with the old traditions of careful, mindful cooking. Pickles can and should remain a joyful part of your meals. They bring brightness to a sandwich, zest to a salad, and nostalgia to family gatherings. But joy is safest when paired with wisdom. As the saying goes, pickles can bring joy, but only when made with purity. By choosing natural ingredients, consuming jars promptly, and paying attention to small changes, you can keep the tangy pleasures of pickles in your life without hidden risks. The flavor you love can still be part of your story, only now it comes with peace of mind and the knowledge that you are protecting your health at every bite. As we come to the end of this video, I hope you're walking away with one clear reminder. Even the foods we've trusted for years can sometimes carry hidden risks, and small changes in how we shop, store, or prepare them can make a very big difference for our health and independence. Always remember, if you are living with a health condition or notice troubling symptoms, the best step is still to talk directly with your doctor and get advice that fits your own situation. I'd love to hear from you now. What lessons stood out to you most today? Was there a tip that surprised you or a habit you're ready to change? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Or if you'd like, simply write the word hope to remind yourself and others that it's never too late to take better care of ourselves. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and share it with a friend or loved one who might benefit from hearing these tips too. These suggestions are intended for general awareness. If you're dealing with any health issues, please consult your doctor before making any changes. Until we meet again, May your kitchen remain a safe haven, your meals bring warmth and comfort, and your days be filled with light, strength, and serenity.